Did you know nuts and seeds are superfoods, part 2? And there may be a few things in that may look a little scientific, but we'll go through it very quickly. And we did this last week. Nuts, 2 weeks ago. Nuts and seeds contain strong antioxidants which help to maintain their viability. And as I mentioned before, that's one reason they can be kept very long. They have a very, very long shelf life because they have what they need to keep themselves in good order without spoiling. Some more sources of the power in nuts and seeds. They contain antioxidants like luteolin and flavonoids which work to suppress the process that makes LDL molecules stick to arteries. LDL is the bad cholesterol, the type that can stick to your arteries and cause blockage. So nuts and seeds has the flavonoids that help to prevent that process from happening. They also contain tocotrienol, which is a form of vitamin E, known to lower cholesterol and reduce the risk of heart disease. So they are really heart healthy. They help to lower the cholesterol, they help to prevent the sticking of LDLs to the arteries and in the formation of plaque. So they help to decrease the formation of plaque and they help to reduce the cholesterol also.
Processed form or the raw form?
Yes.
The process?
The raw. We're going to get to that. We're the raw. They contain resveratrol. This is prominent especially in peanut. It's a compound also found in red grapes that lowers the rate of heart disease. Have you heard that doctors tell people sometimes to drink your red wine? This is one of the ingredients that is found in it because it is prominent in red grapes also. And so nuts contain a good amount of that resveratrol.
You prefer grape juice?
You prefer the grape?
Yes. So you don't have to go out and drink wine and make your liver unhappy. The grape juice, the nuts, and also I did mention when we did onions and garlic that they have another one called quercetin, which is also one of the ingredients that you find in this also. Okay, they also contain phytochemicals like lignin, which help to block or slow the action of protein splitting enzymes. Lignin may act as a protease inhibitor, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about this. A protease inhibitor. Protease is an enzyme that breaks down protein. Okay? And a protease inhibitor is something that inhibits the action of protease.
Why is that important?
Why that is important? That is important in helping to decrease the risk of tumors spreading. Because when tumors spread, they need protease to make their own little protein, to make their own division of their own cells. And a lot of research today is done with HIV because they're finding that protease inhibitors and even from nuts is very effective in helping to reduce the spread of that. So that's one good thing for protease inhibitor. But it can also have a not so good effect because when you eat a lot of raw, they are found mainly in raw nuts and seeds, not the processed one. The processed ones are not very high, the raw ones. When you eat a lot of raw nuts and seeds, because they inhibit the breaking down of protein, because they are protease inhibitors, which it can help to lower the digestion of protein also. So one good thing that is recommended to do, I'm going to look at it right here before we get to this. Moderation is good. Great sources of magnesium and nuts and seeds, potassium, iron, zinc, folic acid as we did before, and B vitamins. They are excellent sources both of soluble and insoluble fiber. They are good sources of protein, and they hinder tumor development and reduce the risk of tumor with protease inhibitors. And I have this for you. They help to lower cholesterol and the risk of heart disease also. And this is a power tip. Increasing evidence show that most nuts, especially walnuts, will lower blood cholesterol and the risk of heart disease when substituted for animal fats that are commonly used in the Western diet. Walnuts are extremely good, and almonds also are extremely very healthy. I have something here for you. This is one thing you can do with sesame seed because it is so high in calcium. You can make your own sesame seed milk. And I do it, we do it many times. When we run out of milk and we have sesame seeds, we make our own. This is just a very simple recipe. 3/4 cup sesame seeds soaked, and I'll explain to you why soaked. 4 cups of water, a tablespoon of vanilla extract. If you want vanilla, that's optional. 2 tablespoons of honey, and a pinch of salt, that's optional. And you don't need much ingredients. The reason you soak it is because when you soak, it becomes much more edible, digestible, easier to digest. And soaking breaks down a lot of that protease inhibitor so that it does not affect your digestion of protein in your digestive tract. And so you can soak, like, this is just a simple recipe here. You soak the sesame seed in a bowl 4 hours, or overnight is best in the refrigerator. You start blending the soaked sesame seeds with a cup of the water, and then you add the remaining water as it thickens until you use up all of the water. Now you can strain it using a cheesecloth or a fine sieve strainer. You don't have to. When I do it, I don't strain it because I like the fiber. But some people don't like the coarseness. So if you don't like the coarseness, strain it and squeeze every bit of juice out of it. And you can save what is remaining. The pulp, you can save that. Good morning. You can save what is remaining and use it. Coming in. Coming in. What is remaining, you can save that and you can use it in other recipes. We are just doing our little health nugget here. Welcome. Okay, so this is very easy. And you can also substitute a lot of things. You can substitute flaxseed instead of sesame seed. You can use almonds. You can use pumpkin seeds. You can use a lot of different nuts or seeds to make your own nut milk or seed milk. But the sesame seeds is extremely good because it's very high in calcium. You're not going to be deficient on calcium using sesame seeds. Okay, and then I have a little food for thought for us. And this is from Sister White from Testimonies to the Church, Volume 1, page 486. She says, "The health reform I was shown is a part of the third angel's message and is just as closely connected with it as the arm and hands with the human body." Did you know health reform is part of the third angel message? It is part of the third angel message. Sometimes we forget that. "I saw that we as a people must make an advanced move in this great work." What is the great work? Health reform. So she's saying that we as a people should make a great advance in the work of health reform. Ministers and people must act in concert, that's in togetherness. God's people are not prepared for the loud cry of the third angel. They have a work to do for themselves, which they should not leave for God to do for them. As we know, God gave us what we need to do, and He will not do for us what we can do for what He has given us the strength and energy and His grace to do for ourselves. He has left this work for them to do. It is an individual work. One cannot do it for another. I can encourage you to health reform, but it is an individual thing that somebody has to be very convicted and convinced that, yes, I need to take care of myself. I need to take care of God's temple. And in most cases, when we see our bodies as God's temple, we do much better in health reform. Gluttony is the prevailing sin of this age. Lustful appetite makes slaves of men and women and beclouds their intellect and stupefies their moral sensibility to such a degree that the sacred, elevated truths of God's word are not appreciated. The lower propensities have ruled men and women, And gluttony doesn't necessarily mean eating bad foods. It could be eating all the good things and doing it way in excess too. Okay, and that's where we end this. And then again, to your health, remember nuts and seeds are superfoods.